Hello, my name is Victor Knight. I'm the product manager of the Configure group, and this is the release kickoff video of our group. Following my recording, you will hear the parts presented by my UX counterpart, Mario Bracini, that are related to the design and UX work we plan for this milestone. And I'm going to focus only on the development work that we want to ship, or at least want to start to work on. We have 3 goals development-wise in this milestone. First of all, we want to ship the GitLab Kubernetes agent as part of Omnibus. We think this is a huge step in the life of GitLab because we are actually providing a Kubernetes-friendly integration with the GitLab Kubernetes agent. And we are trying to ship the agent as part of Helm charts in 13.3 so that we can start dogfooding it on pre-production environments inside GitLab. The second goal we have is to ship Autodevops support, Helm-free support in Autodevops. This is a time-constrained development here because Helm 2 is expected to be end of life around November. In the current release, we want to ship a solution where users can start using Helm 3 with Autodevops, and current users who are on Helm 2 will receive a solution to migrate from Helm 2 to Helm 3 in a future release. Our third goal is to ship admin interfaces around the Terraform state files. This allows, we think that this fills the biggest gap to say that GitLab managed Terraform state files are production ready, because this will allow to see if a state file is logged, who logged it, and allow to unlock it, and so on and so forth. I will present this in shortly, briefly. And we have a few other issues as well, as you can see on the top, for example, this list. There's a version update that we have to undertake that's related to AWS, and so on and so forth. But let's see in details the issues that we are mostly excited about. This screen you can see here is the setup screen for the GitLab Kubernetes agent. We've been working and iterating on it a lot in order to provide a minimal feature set at first that will need quite some manual work by our users that we provide through documentation. At the same time, we think that this is the best approach we can take because we expect many infrastructure code users who are, instead of using UIs, we prefer to use our API, Terraform integration, and other scripted methods to set up even the GitLab Kubernetes agent. This UI already allows everyone to get started, and this is how we are moving forward. The second item is again related to the GitLab Kubernetes agent. We want to allow its installation through Omnibus, so it will be available to the majority of GitLab users. As already mentioned, we try to ship the GitLab Kubernetes agent as part of the Helm charts in 13.3 in order to allow it to be rolled out to pre-production environment around gitlab.com. So by the time we ship it through Omnibus, we will have real-life feedback and experience with the agent. The final item I want to speak about that's related to Kubernetes management in this release is the ability to customize Kubernetes namespaces per environment in the case of GitLab managed clusters. For non-GitLab managed clusters, you could customize namespace for a long time, but GitLab managed clusters had this shortcoming. And actually, until a few months ago, we had an approach where we had one namespace per project. We have changed this to have one namespace per environment. Thus, every review app has its own namespace. And a few of our users are not happy with this change and prefer the previous method, actually. So as we are supporting it, we are just allowing them in the future to have a selection, which is their preferred method, and we can support both setups at the same time. This was proposed by one of our users who favors the old method, and it's a pretty minor undertaking that we think will benefit quite a few of our users. Why might I show you a GitHub page on a release kickoff video? For a very simple reason. HashiCorp reached out to us a month ago that with the release of Terraform 13.0, they are moving out Terraform managed providers to their let's say meaningful or logical owner places, and they would like us to take over the GitLab Terraform provider. And this is the issue where we presented ourselves to the community, and the community was extremely happy to have us on board. And as you can see already, the GitLab Terraform provider now resides beneath the GitLab headquarters GitHub repository. We still have a lot of work to do around taking over the provider, and we want to finish these tasks in the coming milestone. At the same time, we are figuring out the flows and the communication channels around developing the provider itself, because the configure team can't take all the GitLab side developments that are requested by our users to add support to various parts of the Terraform provider. This is actually the issue that we are focusing on, where we try to collect the most sensitive Terraform provider related developments, and we are usually just pinging the group who is actually responsible for a given part for reviewing changes or for coming up with fixes around needed developments here. The final issue I mentioned is the admin UI around the Terraform state. Here we want to support quite basic features at first, basically to allow removing the state log file, to have a view of the state file JSON, but actually this will probably be in a second iteration. And just to show you that these are the state files attached to your project, and you should be able to unlock it, or you should be able to remove the state file itself. This was the presentation from the product point of view, and now Maria follows. Thank you for your attention.
Hello from myself as well. I am Maria Brahni, and I am the Senior Product Designer for Configure. Today, I'm going to talk a bit about the design work we have planned for 13.4. It's a short milestone, so we have not planned many items, but the items we have planned are critical for laying the ground for the upcoming work in the next milestones. All the issues have to do with Terraform, so let's go through them. The first one is Terraform Workflow UX Scorecard. The purpose of a UX scorecard is for the product designer to do an expert evaluation of the user journey for Terraform, which means I will go through the whole journey and grade each step of the experience with a grade from A to F, depending on how usable it is. Then a recommendation. I will create a recommendations issue and work with the PM to prioritize it, the recommendations for usability improvements. If you want to see more information about UX scorecards, you can visit our handbook in the UX department, and there's a dedicated page. So the next issue is explore the design in DMR to show Terraform related information. This issue has to do with information regarding the infrastructure changes, so the state file changes in the MR, which is currently designed in the MR widget in the MR page. So the scope of this issue is to create a more scalable design that will allow us to enhance the experience and information we provide to the users around state files, such as support multiple state files or show more specific information regarding the infrastructure changes through a specific MR. The next issue is admin interfaces around the GitLab managed Terraform state, which is also a stretch goal. So the scope of this issue is to introduce a UI where an admin can see information about the state files, such as how many state files are available in the system, whether they are locked or unlocked, see how many versions and what versions the state file has, and CRUD interactions like remove state file. So this is the planned work for 13.4. If you have any feedback or you would like to provide requirements, I would be more than happy for you to do so. So please Slack me or comment in the issues or schedule a meeting with me.